Good Monday morning. All right, today we're going to be talking about the grasslands. So, we've talked about the deciduous forest and we've talked about um, the rainforest. So, today we're going to be talking about a new biome that's just as cool and it's just a little bit different than some of those other biomes that we've already mentioned. So, a couple of things about the grassland. Obviously, because of its name, it is mostly made up of different types of grass. So it's got all different types of grass, hundreds of different species of grass, all coming together. Those different populations that we talked about, making a community of different grass and different flowers and herbs. So if you were to go to a grassland and you were to look out, it would look much different than where you live now. So you would be able to see for miles because there are no trees blocking the way. The whole thing is made up of short grass or plants that some are shorter than others, so some might come up to your ankles, some might come up to your hips, but it's still much shorter, so you don't have the emergent layer and the canopy layer like you would in the tropical rainforest. So that's pretty cool that you would be able to see out for a long distance because everything is so short and underneath you. That's pretty neat. So you'd be able to see a lot of the animals grazing, and then the smaller animals would be underneath, some of the taller grass on the floor. So that would be pretty cool to see. Some of you may have driven by or visited grasslands before because we do have some in the United States. Remember, we talked about most of the United States is made up of the deciduous forest, but we do have some deserts and some grasslands and other biomes built into North America as well. So maybe some of you have been. A couple of cool facts. Because it is mostly made up of herbs and grass, we call it the breadbasket of the world because that's where we get a lot of our oats and grains and things like that to make bread and your cereal and rice and all that good stuff, your pizza crust, all that good stuff that you guys like to eat. So that's one name for it. Also, the grasslands is a little bit different than deciduous forest. Not only the fact that it doesn't have trees, but it doesn't have 4 seasons, but it does have some. So it has 2 seasons. So it's either going to be really cold or it's going to be pretty warm. Now, it's not going to get up until like the 90s, hundreds. Most of the time, the highs might be more like in the 70s. But there's tons of different types of grasslands as well, depending on their location in the world. So when we think of grasslands, we think of more like a nice temperate weather, like that 70 degrees. But if you get to colder places, you can find grasslands or warmer places as well. So really maybe dive in and see if you can do some research on the different types of grasslands and where you might find them, because you're really going to see a different variety. And when you have a different temperature, then that comes different types of grass and plants. And when you have different types of grass and plants, you're going to have different types of consumers, right? Animals. So it totally depends on exactly what that area is growing. But grasslands as a whole is just going to be mostly made of different grasses and flowers and herbs. Okay. The grasses can survive fire, which is pretty cool in the fact that if there was a wildfire happening, they could survive that. So they grow from the bottom instead of from the top, so their stems can regrow again after the top part has been burnt off. So that's a pretty cool fact about the grasslands, and it's really good too because we need the grasslands. If we didn't have them, we wouldn't have all those things that we were just talking about, like your cereal and your bread and your muffins and all that. Plus, we wouldn't have the animals that live there that need all of those things as well, not just for us. The grasslands, they do get quite a bit of rain. So I have on here 25 to 60 inches per year, which is quite a bit. We talked about the tropical rainforest and how it rains 80 plus inches per year. So we're at 25 to 60 here. So that's a good amount of rain, which we need for all those different types of plants to grow. But it's not quite enough to soak deep into the soil, and that's why we don't have big trees growing in an area like this. So that water is gonna stay on the surface more, and so those smaller plants can grow, like the grass that we were talking about. It's kind of a mix between, you can think of it like a mix between the desert and a forest. So it's not quite as dry as the desert, but we don't have as many lush, beautiful trees and bushes like we do in a forest. So if you were to kind of mix a desert and a forest together, you would probably get a grassland. I want you to go on Blue Planet Biome. I know you guys have been visiting that website, and I hope that you're enjoying it. Take a look at some of the different kinds of animals and plants and like what they look like. Most of you probably know what the animals look like, but those different types of flowers and grass you might not have ever seen before. So a couple that I found, and you can do some more research yourself, but a couple of the animals that I found were prairie dogs, bobcats, fox. I think that's all I have on here, but there's many more, so make sure you go on and look. And then as far as different types of flowers and plants and things like that, we talked about the herbs, different types of grasses, you've got different types of flowers, you've got milkweed, buffalo grass. Okay, so if you don't know what those look like, make sure you go on Blue Planet Biome and check it out. Now there's other websites you can go to as well. Plus, make sure you go to Study Jams. So on Study Jams, it has a couple of videos. It doesn't have individual videos on the different biomes. So it doesn't have like a video just on tundra and taiga and grasslands and deserts and stuff like that. But if you go in and you click on ecosystems at the top, and it lists all the videos. If you click on the video that just says biome, it goes through all of them. So it'll touch on grasslands and all the different plants and animals, and it'll show you a picture of what that will look like as well. Okay, so make sure that you go on and you look and you watch those videos. You can still go to Epic and read some of the books that I picked out for the different units that we have. So our biomes and ecosystems, make sure you check that out. You can dig on Epic too. You don't have to just do the books that I've chosen. You can go on, it's a free site, and you can just type in grasslands, and I'm sure they'll have lots of books for you to choose from. Okay, all right, well, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and we look forward to seeing you at the school this week. Remember, it's your new packet pickup. It's not really a packet, it's a choice board, but it's your new work to be working on for the end of the year. And so you can pick that up anytime from 11 to 1 today through Friday. Plus, you can pick up your belongings, and if you ordered a yearbook, that is a great time for you to pick that up as well. You do not need to bring your packets back to the school. I've had a lot of you ask me that, so no, you do not need to bring your packets back as of now. Okay? All right, I hope you guys have a great rest of your Monday, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.